What's up, foodies? Today I'm going to teach you how to make one of the biggest staples in my kitchen and in many kitchens across the Middle East. Of course, I'm talking about tahini, that magical sesame seed paste that makes everything taste better. In this video, I'll show you 3 authentic ways to make tahini paste, how to turn it into a creamy tahini sauce, and at the end, I'll share tons of delicious ways to use it. From savory dishes to desserts. Yes, desserts. Believe me, tahini belongs there too. By the way, tahini, or tahina in Arabic or Hebrew, comes from the root word tahan, which means to grind. Exactly what we are doing today. The beauty of tahini is its simplicity. You need only one main ingredient. That's right, sesame seeds. Sesame seeds are naturally high in healthy fats, so when blended, they turn into a smooth, creamy paste without any added oil. Kind of like peanut butter or almond butter. And here's a fun fact. Did you know that sesame plant actually look like this? Pretty cool, right? Let's start with the first version, which is also the most common version, using whole sesame seeds. Take 2 cups of whole sesame seeds and toast them in a large dry pan over low heat for about 5 minutes, stirring frequently. Be careful not to burn them. Burnt sesame tastes bitter. You want them lightly golden and fragrant. This toasting step is optional, but I highly recommend it. Toasting brings out a richer, nuttier flavor compared to raw sesame seeds. Remove the seeds from the heat and let them cool completely. Once cooled, transfer them to a high-speed blender or food processor. Here's where the magic happens. Now, at this stage, many recipes will tell you to add oil, but this is not necessary. Sesame seeds are full of natural fats, and when you blend them in a powerful blender, they will release their own oils and turn into a paste. No extra oil needed. It's exactly the same principle as making peanut butter or any nut butter. However, if your blender isn't strong enough, you can add 2 or 3 tablespoons of neutral oil, like grapeseed oil or sunflower seed oil, to make it easier to blend. Start blending and stop every 1 or 2 minutes to scrape down the sides and the bottom. This helps the blending process and prevents overheating. Blend for 5 to 10 minutes depending on your blender. At the beginning, it will look like nothing is happening, almost like dry crumbs that pin around the blender. If your blender has a temper stick, use it. It makes things much easier. Then it will start to clump together into a thick, dry paste. And after a few more minutes, you will see the oil slowly releasing and the mixture turning smoother and shinier. Keep blending until it becomes creamy and pourable paste. That's when you know your tahini is ready. Pour it into a clean jar, seal it tightly, and store in either at room temperature or in the fridge. Check my website for the full storage tips and shelf life. Link in the description. Now for the second version, which is my personal favorite, whole sesame tahini. This version uses unhulled sesame seeds, meaning the outer shell is still on. It has a darker color, stronger nutty flavor, and slightly more bitterness, but also extra fiber, calcium, and nutrients. The process is the same. Lightly toast the seeds for a few minutes. Let cool and blend until smooth. One important tip: try not to let your blender or paste get too hot. Once it passes about 120 Fahrenheit or 50 degrees Celsius, stop blending. Or even if it feels just too warm, stop blending for a few minutes, or even pop the blender jar into a fridge for a few minutes. Here is another fun fact. Back in the old days, before blenders existed, tahini was made using millstones. The word tahina comes actually from the process of grinding the seeds. That's how ancient this food is. And now for something different. Black sesame seed tahini. This one looks striking and has a unique earthy taste, but the process remains the same. Toast the seeds, cool them, and blend them. It can be tricky to know when the sesame seeds are toasted, since they're already dark. So here's a little trick. Add a tablespoon of white sesame seeds to the pan along with the black seeds. Once those turn golden, your black sesame seeds are perfectly toasted. But honestly, you don't need to do it. Just toast them over low heat for 3 or 4 minutes and you'll be fine. There you have it, beautiful black sesame seed tahini paste. This version is fantastic for dessert, smoothie bowls and modern Middle Eastern dishes. Now I will explain shortly what are the differences between the three and which one might be the best fit for you. And right after that I'll show you how to make classic tahini sauce and share plenty of creative ways to use tahini. So make sure to watch until the end. Let's start with the classic, whole sesame tahini. Light in color, mild and smooth flavor. This is the classic version most people know. Perfect for hummus, sauces and salad dressings. Whole sesame tahini. Richer, darker and slightly more bitter, but with a stronger nutty flavor. Great for savory dishes, sauces and for people who love deeper roasted flavors. Black sesame tahini. Earthy, bold and visually striking. Ideal for desserts, smoothie bowls or anywhere you want a dramatic look and taste. Now, as promised, let's make the classic tahini sauce. The one you find drizzled over falafel or shawarma. For the sauce you'll need raw tahini paste, fresh lemon, cold water and salt. And as optional addition, you can add a pinch of cumin or paprika. Whisk everything together. At first it would look like it's separating. Don't worry, that's normal. Keep whisking and it will suddenly turn into a creamy and smooth sauce. Add more water if needed until you get the consistency that you want. Thicker for dipping, thinner for drizzling. Serve it with falafel, shawarma, grilled veggies, salads or sandwiches. And what other uses do we have for raw tahini paste, you ask? Well, tahini is an incredible versatile ingredient. There are so many things you can do with that. Here are just a few examples. Let's start from the classics. You can use tahini to make hummus, baba ganoush, mutbal, or labneh with tahini and herbs. It's also perfect for drizzling over falafel, shawarma, grilled veggies, or even roasted cauliflower. You can add a spoonful to salad dressings, sandwich spreads, grain bowls, or Buddha bowls for an instant flavor upgrade. You can even mix a little with soy sauce, honey, lemon juice, to create a quick Asian-style tahini dressing for noodles and salads. Use it as substitute for nut butters. Whether you have nut allergy or just prefer the taste, you can replace peanut butter or almond butter with tahini in many dishes and desserts. Usually you can use it in 1-to-1 ratio when swapping for natural nut butters. For example, try tahini in smoothies, energy bowls, granola bars, oatmeal, toast toppings, or even in sauces for noodles or stir fries. And don't forget desserts. You can use tahini to make tahini fudge, tahini brownies, tahini cookies, cakes, or even tahini ice cream. It pairs beautifully with chocolate, dates, honey, maple syrup, and adds a deep nutty richness that's hard to resist. You can also swirl tahini into banana bread. Mix it with melted chocolate for a quick topping or drizzle it over pancakes, waffles or yogurt bowls. You'll find many more tahini recipes and ideas on my website, the link in the description. And that's it, 3 ways to make homemade tahini, plus a classic sauce and tons of ideas for using it. Once you try it, you'll never want store-bought tahini again. It's fresher, healthier and so much more flavorful. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And let me know in the comments which version are you going to try first.